Hi everyone, welcome back to Taxi Talks. Today we are tackling a question that I get asked a lot. How much do taxi drivers really make? If you have ever thought about driving a taxi or you are just curious, you are in the right place. I'll be breaking down the numbers, giving you the real scoop on earnings, and showing you what factor can make or break your income. Let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. The fares. When someone gets into a taxi, they are charged based on a standard fare structure. In most cities, there are an initial fee just for getting into the car. This is called the base fare. After that, you charge per kilometer or per minute, depending on how far or how long the trip takes. There are also extras like fees for tolls or late night rides. For example, in London, Ontario, where we work, the base fare starts at 350, then it's about $2 to $2.50 per kilometer or 50 cents to 60 cents per minute in traffic. That can add up pretty quickly, especially on long trips. But remember, this varies depending on your location. In smaller towns, fares might be lower, and big city they might be higher. So on average, most taxi drivers can make anywhere from $15 to $30 per hour before expenses. But that's just the beginning. Location is a huge factor in how much you make. If you are driving in a busy city like New York, Los Angeles, or Chicago, you'll have a lot more opportunities for higher paying fares. You might get tourists, business travelers, or people going to airports. These types of rides can boost your income. But if you're in a smaller city or rural area, it's a different story. You might not have the same volume of passengers, and the fares could be lower. In some places, you'll spend more time waiting for rides, which means fewer trips per day. So if you're driving in a major city, your earning potential is higher, but you also face more competition. In smaller towns, it might be more relaxed, but your income will reflect that slower pace. Another big factor is how many hours you work and when you work them. Most taxi drivers are independent contractors, meaning we set our own hours. The more hours you put in, the more you can potentially earn. But there is a catch. Not all hours are equal. For example, driving during peak times like rush hours, weekends, or late nights can be a lot more profitable than driving during the middle of the day when things are slow. I know drivers who make most of their money on Friday and Saturday nights when people are going out, especially near bars, restaurants, and event venues. But working these hours is not always easy. Late night driving can be tough and you might deal with more difficult passengers. It's all about finding the right balance between working enough hours and picking the most profitable times. Let's talk about tips. Tips can make a big difference in your income as a taxi driver. In some places, passengers tip generously, especially if you help with luggage, take them on a smooth route, or provide great customer service. On average, tip can add an extra 10 to 30% to your total earnings. I find that being friendly and going the extra mile can really pay off. Some passengers tip $5, $10, or even more on longer trips. It's a great boost. And for some drivers, tips makes up a big part of their income. However, keep in mind that tips are not guaranteed. Some days you'll do great and other days not so much. But providing good service usually pays off in the long run. Now, before we get too excited about those numbers, we have to talk about expenses. Driving a taxi is not just about what you earn, it's also about what you spend. You have got to factor in the cost of fuel, maintenance, insurance, and in some cities, leasing or owning a taxi plate. For example, if you are making $1,000 a week, you might have to spend 100 to 200 or more on fuel. Another 100 to 200 insurance and maintenance costs can add up too. In some places, drivers lease their taxis and plates, which can cost hundreds or even thousands per month. So when you add it all up, your actual take home pay might be a lot lower than it looks at first. After expenses, many drivers find they're making somewhere between 500 to 800 per week, depending on how efficiently they manage their costs and how many hours they work. So, how much do taxi drivers really make? It depends on where you work, how many hours you put in, how good your tips are, and of course, your expenses. In a good week, you can make solid money, but it's not without its challenges. If you are smart about when and where you drive and keep an eye on your costs, taxi driving can still be a rewarding job in 2024. If you are a taxi driver, I'd love to hear how much you are making and what factors affect your earnings. Drop a comment below and let's chat about it. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss an episode of Taxi Talks. Thanks for watching and drive safe.